Now, I don't want to be making the sound of corks popping because we can't actually afford the corks popping on the winter fuel U-turn by the government, because it isn't actually a U-turn yet, because we don't know if they're actually going to do it, how they're going to do it, what they're going to do. We've got to wait until the autumn budget. What this is, in my opinion, is Keir Starmer trying to, tell us that he's saying he could do it on the back of the economy growing. I'm like, it hasn't. How have you got from A to B and come up with Z? So he's trying to sort of like peg it on the back of something which he thinks none of us will question. And he said that he'll have a think about it and we'll find out in the budget. So effectively, he hasn't made any decisions. He's just said he's trying to appease voters. He's trying to say, I am man of the people, but he hasn't actually done anything. So I don't feel like we can get excited yet. I hope he does. I hope this is an instance where he does turn around and go, yeah, okay, got that wrong, will do. But I feel as though it's too early to celebrate. And then we need to look at the rate of inflation, which rose, and Rachel Reeves saying she was disappointed. No shit, Sherlock, you're not disappointed as we are. And the bit that gets me is, off the back of that, she then turns around and goes, well, we just must go faster and more furious. Isn't that a film? The Fast and the Furious. But, you know, she's going, we must go faster sooner. Well, no, Rachel, that's the whole problem. The fact that you went like a bull in a china shop, the fact that you didn't do the due diligence, the fact that you just suddenly decided you were going to be in power, you were going to ignore everything that you'd allegedly learned over the past 14 years, which amounts to the sum total of nothing, and you just decided. It was like, you know, sort of first day, you know, when you had at school no rules day? The Labour government sort of reminds me of that. It's a day when you've all just decided to ignore what you've been voted in for and ignore any kind of political lesson that you may well have ever had and just do what you want because you can. So you've decided, we know that inflation has risen. We know that the economy isn't growing, even though Keir Starmer's decided to tell us today that maybe he'll do something about the pensioners' winter fuel because the economy's growing, but the economy's not growing, which doesn't exactly fill you with confidence for what he's going to do or not do. But Rachel Reeves is sort of saying she's disappointed, but she'll move faster. And I'm like, no, you need to slow down. You're going the wrong way, Rach. I have to put my glasses on. I'm doing an onion and oh my goodness, it kills me. You need to slow down, have a rethink. And if you want to look at areas where you could improve the economy, you could stop costing the taxpayer money with your mindless policies. That is a list of schools. I mean, you can't see to the bottom and I ran out of space. That's a list of schools that had closed within the first, I think, 4 months of VAT and education being put on. And it's now costing the economy. And somebody made a really good point on this channel. He said, well, no new kitchens for me then, because everyone's spending their money on school fees, which means my business is now in jeopardy. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. They didn't think of that, did they? So busy were they trying to punish people that dared to do a different education than the ones that they had wanted, should have had, thought they should have had, didn't have, don't like, haven't got another reason, but just don't want you to have. They've now affected all the other areas of the economy that will be hit by their VAT on education. They've killed state education. I mean, the kids in state education that really were having a nice time were doing really well, because don't forget that 94% of children are in state education, and out of that 99% of the schools are good. It might not be 99%, but it's not far off. They're all good. So we killed that. We've over-schooled schools. We've killed the SEND system. We're killing the NHS. We're killing the pensioners. We're letting anyone that wants to come in left, right and centre. I mean, I bet they won't have any of their budgets cut. I bet they're not going to cut $5,500 a month off the landlords that they're promising to pay to house migrants. I bet they're not going to do that. I have no problem with migrants. I have a problem with illegal migrants. And have a massive problem with the fact that we appear to be prioritising anyone else in this country other than the people that actually need it. So Keir Starmer's sort of little show pony effort in Prime Minister's questions today, because he probably realised he was going to get absolutely annihilated, to say, well, we'll have a think about it, is another Keir Starmer, we haven't done anything. We've actually literally not done a thing. Well, what's the point, Keir? Don't bother turning up if you're not going to answer the questions. You're not going to have a plan. You and Rachel sort of sitting there cooking up more misery for the rest of us. And when you talk about, you know, Keir goes, oh, well, I understand how hard it is for people. Do you? Do you actually? On your salary, I'm guessing you don't. Because on your salary, I'm guessing you don't have to worry when you're week 2 after being paid that there's nothing left for week 3 or week 4. I don't imagine when you get paid, you spend day 1 paying all the bills, and by day 2, you're already going, well, we can't do this, and we can't do that, and we can't go there, and I've paid this, and the car needs a new tyre, and did you pay for so-and-so's school trip? You know, it's all of those things that make the world not go round that we're all facing, and you're getting your subsidised foods in Houses of Parliament, you get your grocery allowance for being an MP and living away from home, you get a second home allowance. I mean, you are literally given life on a plate. We're the ones serving it to you and then walking away watching you eat. That's how it feels. That's a good analogy, that one, isn't it? So I'm sure some people will be going, yay, look, he's going to reverse it, life is good. I'm not there yet. I hope he does, and I hope he looks at all of his other policies, and I hope he looks at them and says, yeah, okay, we need to address this, we need to do it quickly, because at this rate we'll have lost the one voter that voted for us. But until you do, Keir, until you come up with some actual tangible ideas, plans, and actually something concrete, something that makes us go, oh, okay, he's going to do that. Oh, okay, he's going to do that. You know, we need something a little bit more than an empty promise, and I might do it in the autumn. Really? And then we've got Angie's. Oh, I'm going to have to I'm making meatballs, which look really good. But you know when you've got to get your hand in. It's not my favourite thing. Here we go. We've got Angie's leaked memo. Now, it's never leaked, is it? Someone's actively given that up. Somebody's actively said, this is... Just chuck that to the news desk at the Mirror. Just chuck that to the news desk at the FT. Just throw that in ITV's direction. It's not leaked, it's wantonly given. But there's Angie talking about raising taxes. And I wonder whether because that's been leaked, Keir's gone, shit, we said we weren't going to raise taxes. I know we've already done it, and I know we've lied once, but if we do that, we're really not going to get through. There's going to be a vote of no confidence. I better say something about the pensioners. So I'm sorry. I know I don't want to pee on anyone's chips, but I'm not sure that this is good news. I'm not sure that there is any good news. I'm not sure he's actually, well, he hasn't said anything, has he? And that's the point. It's another non-event. It's another non-announcement announcement. Nobody needs that. You know, go back to being a barrister, Keir. Go back to earning 400 grand a year or whatever it was and just leave us alone. I should think Mrs. Starmer would vote for that as well. I think she'd rather go back to the life that was rather than the absolute cluster that you've left us with. But yeah, I'm sorry I can't get excited. I wish I could, but I don't see anything's changed. All I see is a desperate man trying to hold on to votes and doing it in his usual tone-deaf way. Now, question is, how much garlic do I put in this? I sort of normally go a bit willy-nilly. I don't really ever measure anything. But I feel like if I go, I've put mint and parsley and a bit of basil because I felt sorry for it because there were only 3 bits left on the plant and I didn't want to leave it on its own. So I don't want to over garlic it, do I? I was watching Angela Lawson last night making some chicken sandwich. I mean, it literally had every ingredient ever known to man in it. I was like, well, could you taste any of them? Maybe you could. I'll have to make it and see. Anyway, I digress. We've got important things to do, dinner to make, and politics to chew the cud on.